Given these 2 points, write an equation in y equals mx plus b form. We need to start by figuring out what our slope should be. So using the slope formula, we can say 5 minus negative 4 divided by negative 2 minus 1. 5 minus negative 4 is really 5 plus 4, or 9. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3, and so we have a slope of negative 3. Then, using the m we just found and the point 1, negative 4 in for y and x, we can say that negative 4 is equal to negative 3 times 1 plus b. That leaves the y-intercept as the only variable. Simplifying, negative 4 equals negative 3 plus b, and adding 3 to each side, negative 1 is equal to b. So we see the equation in slope-intercept form is y equals negative 3x minus 1, because we're substituting the slope and the y-intercept that we found. Next, we're asked to graph this line. So we start at negative 1 on the y-axis, and a slope of negative 3 is the same as negative 3 over 1. So that tells us to go down 3 and right 1. We'll do that as far as we can go on the graph, and then reverse it to go up 3 and left 1, and draw our line, remembering to put arrows on the ends to label the y-intercept and at least one other point along the line. A carpenter charges a $45 fee plus $30 per hour for labor. We're asked to write an equation to model the total cost of a job and to model the total cost with a graph. Now, we're working in y equals mx plus b form. And as we've seen in some of the work that's come up in previous lessons and even in previous units, this position is how much do we start with, or something that happens one time. Whereas the number in this position is something that happens again and again. So it's something repeated. We always need to think about what's the input and what's the output so that we know what x and y stand for. So the cost of a total job, the total cost of a job is going to be our y value. That's what we're ultimately calculating. And if we see in here this rate per hour of labor, that suggests that x is the number of hours of labor. So there's a $45 flat fee for the carpenter to start the job. So that's the amount that happens one time, which means it's our y-intercept. Because no matter how long the carpenter works for, that $45 fee will be in place. And then for each hour of labor, another $30 is charged. So 30 times the number of hours plus the $45 fee will give us the total cost of the job. That's the equation that models the scenario. We also have a grid here so that we can make a graph. We have to estimate a little bit because of the way the scale is drawn here. So we know that x is the number of hours spent working, and y is the total cost. So we know that before the carpenter even begins to work, there's a $45 fee. And then from there, we go up $30 per hour. So after 1 hour of labor, we'd be at $75. After 2 hours, we'd be at $105. After, so we were at $45 for 0 hours, $75 for 1 hour, $105 for 2 hours, $135 for 3 hours. So we can basically see that the model looks like this. Our cost is increasing at a steady amount with each hour of labor.